Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Brad, and we are the Wanderland Travelers.
We have just celebrated 1 year of full-time RV living, so this seemed like a great time to reflect on the past year of travel and share some of the lessons we've learned and the insights that we've gained along the way. We visited 13 states, 7 national parks, kayaked in 7 different states, and tasted over 80 craft brews from around the country. We've put over 11,000 miles on our trusty steed, Fendi.
We've also spent 200 nights free camping, whether that's BLM land or parking in friends' driveways or in a parking lot.
We've had more adventures in the past year than we ever could have imagined. It truly has been incredible.
This past year has far exceeded our expectations of what this life could be like, and has shown us how adaptable, spontaneous, adventurous, and free we really can be.
Without further ado, here is what we've learned.
Well, I think finding free camping was a little bit harder than I expected. It's easy to find free camping, but it's hard to find free camping that satisfies all the requirements that we have, such as space requirements, accessibility requirements. We don't have 4x4, so it has to be a decent road for us to get in there.
Internet connectivity.
Internet connectivity requirements. I do daily video meetings with my coworkers, so I need a pretty decent internet connection.
And yet we still managed to find 200.
Yeah, we still managed to stay 200 nights free. So there's a lot of free camping out there. That's kind of what that shows, I guess.
Yeah. For me, driving the rig turned out to be a lot more intimidating and difficult than I expected. When we bought Fendi, I test drove it. We were on back roads. Things seemed comfortable enough, but add a tow car into the mix, traffic, weather conditions, and frankly, it's just very intimidating to me. So Brad has logged almost the entirety of those 11,000 miles. Another thing is we underestimated the impact of wind. It's not something you really have to think about when you live in a regular house or apartment, but in an RV, you're a lot closer to the elements. And so even though we've got stabilizing jacks, we stayed in several really windy places in the Anza Borrego Desert and near Joshua Tree and in Lone Pine.
Mojave Desert.
Yeah, all these places. Sometimes we would get gusts up to 50 miles an hour. It would be shaking the RV, howling really loudly.
Making it hard to sleep.
Yeah, and then sometimes even, we had to drive in it, so that was probably not too pleasant for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're much more in tune with the weather, as well as seeing more sunsets and all that good stuff.
Well, for me, driving the rig was easier than I expected. Aside from, at the beginning when I was still learning and a few extreme circumstances, now driving feels very normal and easy to me.
He's a pro, yeah. Adapting to Navy showers went a lot smoother than I expected, and just adapting in general to being in a smaller space and letting go of a lot of possessions, that went over pretty smoothly. Sort of, I think once you have a really exciting goal like traveling full time, that maybe makes it a little easier to kind of pare down your belongings to the essentials.
Yeah. For me, I can kind of sum it up by saying that we are just more mindful of every type of resource we consume, and I don't just mean like power and water and food, but also like the space in our holding tanks. That's very limited, and gas. But everything that we use,
including internet data.
Yeah, and internet data, it's all kind of limited in some ways. So we have to be mindful of our usage, and that has changed our lives very dramatically, I would say.
For me, what's pretty different is that I'm almost always planning and researching our next destination. So it's kind of like constantly planning a vacation. Just figuring out where we're going to go, where we're going to stay while we're there, how we're getting there, maybe where we're going to dump and get water along the way. And sometimes we spend the night just in a single spot to sort of break up the drive. So figuring out maybe a parking lot that allows overnight stays. And in addition to that, it's always a good idea to call ahead and ask so you can be a good, conscientious user of the space.
Well, my work life has remained almost the same. I guess I've downsized my workstation a little bit. Now I just use a laptop, whereas before I had a big desktop computer and 3 monitors. But aside from that, everything's the same. I still meet every morning with coworkers via video chat, and I still have a stand-up desk like I had at home in our Sticks and Bricks house. And just everything feels pretty much the same.
We're still regular users of the internet, social media, so we're still very much connected to friends and family that way. There's still the daily chores of life, dishes, meals, laundry, vacuuming, walking the dogs, all those things have remained consistent throughout these chapters of our life. And we've always loved nature, so just getting outside and exploring has sort of been a continual theme for us as well.
I think I really miss my garage at the house. It was my sanctuary, my lair, my mad scientist lab. I had
lots of half-finished projects in there.
It was filled with half-finished projects, and it was just a place of creativity for me. But it was worth giving up for this lifestyle. And now, I still have a garage. It's just a 3-foot-long bay instead.
And now you get to tinker on the RV all the time.
Yeah, I have plenty of stuff to tinker on, and I get to do it outside.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing I miss is just being close to our dear friends back in Eugene and Portland. So we love our community of people, and love you guys. So that's definitely been the challenge, but luckily through the miracle of technology, there's texting, phone calls, emails, social media. So there are
video chats.
Oh yeah, video chats. Numerous ways to still stay connected. So thankful for all of that.
So many things, but I guess I'll just say I love getting to see new places pretty much every week, and especially getting to see places that otherwise we would never go to, especially these serendipitous stops. Like if we're just driving along and we see a sign that looks interesting and we pull over, we would never do that if we weren't on a life road trip.
Yeah, little tucked away slot canyons and craters and back roads that have amazing views, just all of this stuff we never would have even known was out there. So.
And some of those are the best stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that what I love the most is being creative every day, whether it's video editing or taking photos or talking about things we want to incorporate into our lives or into our videos, and just living a life of excitement, adventure, and freedom. It's been totally incredible.
Well, I feel like big lesson I learned is that we just don't need as much space as we thought. I really thought it was going to be, I was just going to get cabin fever and stir crazy in here and just, I want to bust down the walls. But I've really gotten used to it. Even with the slide in, I don't feel too crowded. And the tiny shower, I've totally gotten used to that. And that was the biggest surprise to me. But just in general, I feel perfectly fine in this size, and we've actually talked a lot about even downsizing even more. We started talking about that pretty much a couple weeks after moving aboard.
Pretty early on, yeah. We were like, wow, we could definitely go smaller and still be quite happy.
Yeah, so we got used to it really quick.
Yeah. Couple things, and we've kind of mentioned it a couple times here, but just the fact that we are so much more adaptable than we give ourselves credit for, and it's just a matter of being open to change and new situations, and you sort of get into them and realize I can do this, and those challenges, or what you're afraid might be challenges, it just becomes the new normal and your new life and new way of living, and so you just kind of go forward with that path. Another eye-opening thing would be that even after 365 days of full-time travel and exploring, there's so much left to see. This country is huge, way bigger than I would have first thought when we were starting and planning this. So even in the places where we've spent a week or sometimes 2 weeks, there's still more to see and do. So it just underscores how much there is to do out there and how awesome it is to be out and traveling and doing it and seeing it, and how important it is to have protected lands and public places so we can all go enjoy them. So cheers. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in. If you're new to our channel, please click the subscribe button and stay in touch with all of our adventures.
We release weekly vlogs about our journey, and we would love to hear your questions. If you have any extra questions that we didn't answer today,
yeah, absolutely.
Let us know.
That'd be awesome. And a huge thank you to the folks who have been following along for a while. So we thank you so much.
Wonderland on...
Is that a new thing?
I don't know.
Are we going to start saying that now?
Wonderland.
Oh, no.
But what?
Oh,
well, see,
no.
I do the W and you do the T. Or is that backwards?
I think we're backwards.
Okay, I'll do the T. Wonderland Travelers out.
Let's try it again.
Okay.